Yes.
Hi, welcome. I'm really excited that we're here today to look at your purpose and for you to be able to identify your purpose and then look at how aligned are you and what changes might you need to or want to be putting into place in your life and your work so then you are really living on purpose. Before we start, I want to acknowledge the First Nations owners of the land that we're each on. I'm joining from the land of the Wiradjuri Waiwarong people of the Kulin Nation here in Melbourne, Australia. Now, this is a workshop, so there is a lot of time for reflection and some discussion as well. So this is really about guiding you on a process of that reflection. So let's make a start. And really first, let's have a look at what is it to have this sense of purpose. So some people think that purpose is, que sera, whatever will be, and that, that it's out of our hands, that it is destiny. The thing is, we can actually choose the path we take and make the decisions around how the impact we want to have on the world and our place in it. So this is what we're doing today. We're looking at the choices that we've made in the past, and that doesn't have to predetermine what we're going to do in the future. So if we have a look at this, you're born and every step of the way you've made decisions. And there is that opportunity cost as you go along that path. You turn right, and then that means you've no longer taken the left path. You may take, there's a high road and a low road. Which road are you taking? You've taken one path, that's the direction you're in, and that other path is not an option because we're moving forward. And as we go through our lives, there are certain paths that are closed off to us. So it's never too late though, because look at this. You are right here, right now. We're not just looking at the past, where we've been, whatever you've done, whichever career path you've taken in your life, that does not have to limit the possibilities of where you can go from this point in time looking forward. You have a whole range of options, and there is an opportunity for you to pivot and change directions if that is what you're inspired to do. So Ikigai is something that I have been passionate about my whole life. I actually found a really old resume from about 20 years ago, and I found that I had actually, not knowing about Ikigai, I'd already done a Venn diagram, really mapping out my passions, my areas of interest, because I was really looking at my career design and making sure that it was aligned to my sense of purpose. So over 20 years ago, what you might not know about me is I did have my own business, and there was no such thing as social enterprise back then. I was just, in my view, doing what I felt was aligned to my sense of purpose, things that I was inspired to do. So if clients came to me with something, I would actually have pause for a moment and think, is this aligned with what I'm really passionate about? And that would quite often mean either choosing to proceed with that opportunity or not. And it's been really instrumental at those, those big decision-making times in your life when you are at one of those crossroads. This is the perfect time to then sit and reflect, which is really aligned with my sense of purpose or your reason for being. So with this model of Ikigai, there are 4 aspects that you can really look at it. And you may find that you're stronger in some areas than others, because there are things that you love doing, things you're really good at, things that you're paid for, and then there are the things that the world needs. And traditionally, people have seen that as being a very separate thing. I know that when I was first a young adult starting my career, it was seen as very separate thing. So I was doing a lot of environmental work, and then I was also setting up a business. And at that time, the environmental people that I was with were saying, you can't do business. Business is wrong. Money is bad. You need to be all in and fully dedicated. And if you're not laying your life on the line and just going all in with saving the world, then you've sold out. Then I had the business community looking at the environmental-based business that I was building. They were saying, you're not a real business, you're doing fluffy stuff. That's not, it's a real business if you're there focusing on making money. And I felt really torn. I'm like, why can't I have a business that is focused, aligning with people, planet, and profit? Balancing these things that were very important to me in terms of finding my place in the world and the legacy that I wanted to leave. And I was really excited when I found the world of social enterprise, because all of a sudden I found my people. I found others who had also shared this vision around being in business and doing good at the same time, and that you could do this. It was quite liberating, because there are a lot of people who may be in a role or in a career, they've been told to get a real job, and it may not be what they love. It may not be with having the positive impact on the world that they want to have. So, but likewise, you might be doing something that is in one of these areas and you want to really balance it out. And that's the workshop that we're going to be doing today. You're going to be able to start mapping out and having a look at what is the world needing from you? What do you love doing? What are you good at? And what can you be paid for? It might be what you're currently being paid for, or it might be something that a project or a side hustle that you've always had on the back burner, and you could potentially give that a go. So the exciting thing about this Ikigai is that sweet spot is where you can get that convergence. How can you can see that sweet spot in there when you've got when you've actually found the work or your life's work that you're doing that aligns with all of these, that convergence of these spheres. Wow, that is so exciting to then be able to bounce out of the bed each morning knowing that I get to do what I love today, and I'm really good at it. I'm having a positive impact on the world, and I am paid for it, so I can look after myself and my family and my community. So, wow, how did that feel? Have a think about that for a moment. You can pop that in the chat there and have a think about what would that mean to you if you could wake up each day knowing that you had that in store. And it may or may not be something that you're experiencing now. And the thing is, it is in reach for you. So we are going to go through a process at the moment. We're going to unpack each of these areas. So if you could pull out a piece of paper, or if you want to do it on an electronic device, we're going to do some brainstorming. We're going to do some brainstorming, and we'll do it as a guided process. So while you're brainstorming, I'm going to ask you some questions to provoke and evoke some ideas and thoughts, and you can just free flow writing. Keep your pen writing for the entire amount of time and dig deep, because the more brainstorming you do, it's the things that actually come up when you dig that little bit deeper that end up really bearing the fruits of those great insights. And I also want to share with you that it is okay and even good and even desirable if you repeat yourself, because then you're starting to identify where you're getting some overlap, where these spheres are linking up. Because what if in your brainstorm, you find that the same thing comes up in each of those topics? Wow. Maybe you found your Ikigai. Maybe you found your reason for being. So let's start this process. I'm going to put on a bit of music for us to support the reflective journey. Okay, got your bit of paper, got your pen, got your electronic device there. as we are about to begin the journey of reflection. Firstly, what do you love? What could you do all day and you would never get bored? What are you doing when you feel really happy? What were you doing when you last lost track of time? It's like, wow, is the day over already? I didn't even notice because I was loving doing this so much that I had no sense of time. What energizes you? What lights you up? What gives you that energy? Because you're just loving it so much. It feels so powerful. You're even dreaming about it. And you know what? You would do this even if you were not getting paid. You're doing it because you love it. You're passionate about these things. Keep writing. That thing that you just thought of then, write that down. Excellent. Keep writing. This is what you love doing. Okay. We're going to move on to the next one, and feel free to keep adding any of these lists as we go. The next question: what are you good at? You are so good at this. People come to you for advice. They know you're good at this. They can see how good you are at this, and they tell you, "Wow, you are so good at this." What is that? What just comes naturally? Skills, talents, ideas, things that you're talking about. And people are really interested. Wow, tell me more. That. You're not even trying and you're doing really well. You picked it up naturally. With the work that you do, which bits come easily to you? When you don't have much energy, which are the things that you can just do without effort? Okay, the next question. What can you get paid for? So firstly, what are you being paid for right now? What could you be paid for if you were doing something different? Other opportunities out there. You may have seen some job ads and opportunities that are out there and you thought, oh, I could do that. Did you apply? Did you put yourself out there? There may be other people in your organisation that's doing work and you're thinking, oh, I could do what they're doing, or I'd like to be working in a team. Have you let them know that you're interested in these areas of work? People that you're really, really respecting. You see they're working on it, wow, I'd love to do what they're doing. You're a role model. What are they doing? And next, what does the world need? What do you offer the world that can bring meaning? What legacy do you want to leave? What are those great problems facing life on the planet that you could play a role in? What is the world lacking? What about your community, your local community? Have you ever thought someone needs to do something about that? Not a few. And then the Sustainable Development Goals. Literally, the United Nations identified 17 great challenges facing life on this planet. This is what the world needs. Which of these really are the ones that you want to focus on? Have a look at the Sustainable Development Goals on the screen there. Which are the ones that really resonate for you, where you think, I can make a difference to this, I can contribute, I can make impact? Maybe you're aware of other organisations that are working in these areas too. What do they need? How could you support these other organisations that share your passion? How can you collaborate? So we have just gone through and looked at what you love, what you're good at, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs. Now have a look back over the lists that you've created there. Are there any themes? Is there anything that came up a few times? Like, oh, there's a common thread here. So you can see here with the Ikigai, the more overlap you have, the more you're able to have that sense of alignment and integration with your reason for being and the life you live. You may want to circle or highlight some of the things that have come up for you there and look at how can these come together? How can I draw these together into a sense of purpose? And then putting it into action, because we're all about action here, we're not just talk. What action can you put in place to actually be on purpose? So this is where we now look at what you can do to put these into action. In the chat there, if you want to share anything that's come up for you so far in terms of what you would love to do, what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and you can be paid for, feel free to put it in the chat there and share with the group. Action time now. So for this new sense of purpose, have a look at it. Is it new? You may find that I'm already aligned. I'm already doing what I need to do. I'm interested, put it in the chat there. Are you already on purpose, or is there some shift that you need to make? It may be a small shift, a tinker, some adjustments, some fine tuning. Looking at, am I still aligned with this purpose? Or have we maybe veered off a little and adjust the sails to stay on course? Or you may find, oh, okay, there's someone here, fine tuning, fantastic. And some people, you may find, wow, this is a totally new direction. This is a big career change. I'm going to be making some big shifts in my life. And that's okay too, because this is a journey. And as we reflected earlier on, the decisions you've made in the past, they don't necessarily inform or limit the decisions that you make in the future. From this day looking forward, You have all of these options before you, and you can choose the path you take. Because now you've really identified that reason for being, that is your compass, your North Star that guides your navigation in your journey. So now, what actions are you going to do? To start and to stop doing? What are you going to stop doing? Maybe put down a couple of things, the things that you're going to stop doing from today. And you may want to set a date for these as well. So when will you stop doing this? And what actions do you need to start doing to be on purpose, to live on purpose? What do you need to start doing? Write them down. And when? When is this going to happen? Put a date on it. And there is that fine tuning. There may be a bit, what do you need to do less of or more than? So that's more of the tinkering, the fine tuning. So this is where your opportunity to put together your action plan for how you are going to align with your reason for being. Share in the chat what you've come up with there. And now reflect back to what we looked at the beginning. Remember when we were thinking, what would it be like to live this every day? Close your eyes for a moment and we'll have a reflection on this. It's a new day, you're lying in bed. You haven't opened your eyes yet, you're still laying in bed, you've just come into consciousness and you're reflecting on what is my intention for the day. And then you realize, today I get to do what I love. I get to do what I love doing. Oh, and I'm so good at it. I feel so good at what I'm doing. I'm having a positive impact on the world. I'm making a difference and leaving a legacy. And you know what? I get paid to do it so that I can look after myself and my family. Wow. Then you bounce out of bed with excitement. You are looking forward to the day because you are on purpose. Feel free to share. How does this feel? How does it feel to be on purpose? Now that you have a vision for what your purpose is and you're aligned with it, now being able to visualize what it is to live it. Share in the chat. What is your experience going forward? What changes are you making? They may be small adjustments or it may be something big. This is the process I encourage you to do once a year. Some people don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I like to do them. But I think we do plans for businesses, so why do we not do plans for ourselves? Identify our purpose, our vision, our reason for being, and designing our lives and our work to be aligned with it. And then checking in here quarterly on, am I still aligned? Do I need to do any further adjustments? Adjusting sales to stay on course. Another action you might want to look at here too is you're going to be collaborating. You're not carrying this burden on your own shoulders. You're not alone. There are change makers all over the world working to have a positive impact. There's a beautiful story of a boy was walking along the beach, and there were thousands of starfish on the beach, and they were drying in the sun. They'd been washed up, and they were dying. And someone saw this boy. He'd pick up a starfish and he would throw it back in the ocean. And then he'd bend down, he'd pick up another one and cast it out into the ocean. And the man went up to this boy and said, "Why are you doing this? There are thousands of these starfish. What difference are you going to make?" The boy bent down, picked up one more starfish and said, as he cast it into the ocean, "It made a difference to that one." So you don't need to take on the whole world on your own. You can make the impact that you are aligned to make impact with your reason to being, whatever your niche is in the ecosystem of impact. You have found it now. And you're not alone. You're not having to do it on your own. You have a community, a network, and that is something that Catalyst 2030 can be for you. Your community, your network, change makers. Let's work together. I'm Chloe Beavers, and it's been such a pleasure to guide you on this journey. And I look forward to collaborating with you as our reasons for being align. Thank you so much. I'll now hand over to John, who will tell you about some of the other things we have coming back. This is Catalyzing Change Week. I'm the co-chair for the Australia chapter, and we have a number of other sessions that are happening through the week, and we invite you to join us this Friday to hear about how Catalyst can align with you and your reason for being. Over to you, John.
Thank you, Chloe. It's always inspiring to be able to join this Pivot to Purpose. I feel like this has already been my annual reflection. So thanks for facilitating this, and lovely to see our people joining us today for this journey as well of self-reflection. So Roxelle is actually from my youth organization, has been doing amazing stuff in our community. Yeah, just very quickly, once again, thanks, Chloe. I'm gonna be introducing you to Catalyst 2030. This is not an exhaustive presentation, but Catalyst 2030 is a community of change makers, social innovators, wanting to make a difference and really try to, live our ikigai and find our ikigai as well. So it's a community founded by different advocates of social enterprise: Ashoka, Echoing Green Social Entrepreneurship, Schwab Foundation, Skoll Foundation. So our mission is really to accelerate progress towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. I'm not sure if Ashish is already a member, but for Roxelle, actually, Caloocan Young Leaders Initiative is already an organization. So Herman was already able to join. We have some more people joining, which is amazing. We're just nearing the end of the first. Yeah, we do have chapters that you can also join, regional country chapters, etc. And yeah, that's just a very quick presentation of what Catalyst 2030 is. So if you're curious to learn more about it, please find us online, catalyst2030.net, and happy to answer all questions that you might have as well. So back to you, Chloe.
Thanks, John. And that just links in so well with that journey that we've just been on in terms of identifying your reason for being, and then looking at how to, for you to identify how you would best align yourself with that. And now Catalyst as being your vehicle to collaborate with others that are aligned with your reason for being, because it's, we don't need to carry it on our own shoulders. There's sometimes the Sustainable Development Goals can feel heavy and big beyond the scope of a person, and that's where being able to collaborate, and this is where you can have a look at who can you be collaborating with in your own community, and then also looking further afield in terms of the global network, and that's something that Catalyst can bring for you. So I just want to, I know that some people have just arrived. We've just gone through a whole journey. And so I just want to revisit some of that for you, a bit of a recap. So I'll just share again so you can get a sense of what we've covered so far. So we've really been looking at the reason for being is something that we choose. So rather than doing what we're doing as being something that is, might be something that's imposed upon us, or, oh, it's just meant to be. The thing is, we can make conscious choices around the life that we design for ourselves. And that's what this workshop has been today. It's been that workshop to really map out what is it that you're really inspired to do. So recognising that we've made decisions along our journey, and that may have closed some paths off to us in terms of pursuing different careers, living in different places. But the thing is, we are right now at this point in time. You have all of the opportunities and number of directions that you can choose in designing your next steps, your way forward. And the Ikigai is a useful way of doing that in terms of identifying what you love, what you're good at, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs. And this is where the Sustainable Development Goals are a really useful way of looking at which ones am I inspired to, and that I'm in a position to really make an impact. So this is where you can have a look at the background that you have, the experience, what with your skills and experience, what you're passionate about, how these fit in with the goals as well. You may find that there are some of these that you're really inspired to have an impact, and that you may already be in a position to really have an impact. So you may be able to then look at how you can dovetail the SDGs into your current work. So we have gone through that whole process as a guided journey of, you would have seen there were a lot of questions there under each of those categories. And we have recorded this session, so you will be able to play it back, and then you'll be able to take that time. And it was actually like a guided meditation, really, for you to then actually be brainstorming as I shared these prompting questions to really get a feel for, what am I good at? What lights me up? What am I good at? And really that key thing of waking up in the morning excited. I'm excited that I get to do what I love doing. I'm really good at it. I get paid well, and I'm having a positive impact on the world and leaving a legacy. And how that would feel. I'd love to hear from the group. How would that feel? Would anyone like to come off the mic and share some of what you experienced as we went through that process? What would it mean to you to be able to wake up in the morning, setting your intention for the day, and knowing that you get to have a positive impact on the world and doing what you love? Would anyone like to share in the chat, or if you want to come off mute and share what you've come up with? I know it made a great difference to me at many times, many turning points in my career. You know, that's in your career when you have to make a big decision, you're at a crossroads, and it's a matter of looking at, how do you make that decision between which direction to take? And that's where having this clarity around your reason for being makes it so much easier to then really be able to design the career, the life, the journey that means that you can actually get to stay on purpose. And then we were looking at how we align with that. And that is where we have these other questions around, now that we've got that idea of what it is to the redesigning of your life. There may be a big pivot, maybe a total change of career, living in a different country, making some big decisions, or it may be that you are tweaking and fine-tuning. A lot of the comments there indicate that people are that you are fine-tuning, and that's where this is a really useful process to do this reflection and check, am I still on purpose? Am I still aligned with my reason for being? And what changes will I make? And you can see with these questions here, there may be some actions that you're going to take that you're going to stop doing, and some other actions that you're going to start doing. And so I encourage you to actually put a time on it, put a date on it. So then you will know, because it comes down to, like, what does success look like? How will you know that you have incorporated this new direction into your life? So by having a date and actually writing down, what does it look like, and what does it feel like to have made these changes in your life? Because when it comes down to it, there's decision and action. So this is where we're closing that gap between making a decision and taking action. So through this workshop today, we've gone through it as a journey, and then I've done this recap revision of what we've covered today. And now it's in your hands. What decisions have you made today around that clarity of your reason for being? And then action. What actions are you going to take to make it happen? Walking that talk. Great, I got some comments in here. Seems like pursuing social impact, social enterprise is the ikigai. I absolutely agree with you. Thanks, John. Having that alignment it really does make a difference. I shared a story earlier about how when I discovered social enterprise, I really felt I'd found my people. I've worked for decades in my journey, where I've checked in with my reason for being and kept that alignment. And some of that alignment has been through working in government, some has been through working in not-for-profit community organisations, doing environmental work, and also in business. And it's the work where I've actually been able to run a business that is balancing people, planet and profit, where I've really felt that I've felt the most aligned in terms of really making a tangible difference and feeling that alignment across all areas of that ikigai. Because sometimes you might find that I'm having a great difference on the world, but I might not be doing what I love, or maybe you're not getting paid enough, or maybe you're being paid really well, but you're feeling a bit empty. Like, oh, what's this all about? I want to know that I'm leaving a legacy. So it is a balancing act, and so you can, when you've done this brainstorm around each of these areas, and then looking for those patterns and looking at, okay, what themes have come up as I've explored these, to find the common threads that really start to be that convergence where you can have it all. Live, love, and make positive impact on the world. That's the ideal life. So I'd love to keep in touch with you all, and thanks, Asha. Thank you so much for the feedback in the chat there, and do keep in touch. Scan the QR code there and connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to keep in touch. Would anyone like to come off mic and share your journey, your experience of the workshop? We've got a lot of comments happening in the chat there. Thank you so much for the feedback. It's been a pleasure to share this with you today. I delivered this workshop last year as part of Catalysing Change Week as well, and I've also delivered it face-to-face at conferences, so I'm available to deliver this workshop in person online, hybrid, because I feel that this, had great feedback that this is a useful way for people to, really leverage your impact and have that greater sense of fulfillment in life. Thank you. Great comments here. I've got another comment here. I help businesses that make a positive global impact. Great model. Thanks, Chloe, to check in and refine my work and my place in it all. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that feedback. Thank you for joining us today. Feel free to, we'll just wrap up the formalities there. And if you want to join us, you'll see in the chat there is another session that we're having on Friday. And we'll just reshare that now, just so that if you want to join us on Friday, hear more about Catalyst and how we can support you in your journey of you living your love and being on purpose. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chloe. Lovely session.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Cheers.